I'd start this video off with a funny clip, but I'm afraid this video might get blocked. Like a kick. Welcome back. Incredible. Broncos win. Sir, I'm going to need you to speak a little quieter. You're peeking your microphone, sir. They don't ask how, they ask how many.
I want to throw this team off of a cliff.
Week 3 is done. That means it's time for the power rankings. And oh my goodness, we had a wild week 3. There was so many blocked kicks, so many end of game shenanigans that we saw this week in the NFL. And it made this power rankings kind of interesting to do. I didn't do one last week. I was moving. As you might notice, new setup. If you didn't watch my Bronco recap video, you should watch that video. Yeah, because that's the first one. I'm still figuring out what I'm doing behind me. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, I don't know, leave it below. But yeah, power rankings. And I have a little bit different strategy. I'm going to do a top 11 because that way, for my honorable mentions, I can do the 12th Man Awards. That's the entire reason for it. So let's just get into it. Starting off with our 12th Man Awards. These are basically my honorable mentions. 12th Man Awards go to the teams that just missed out on the top 11 this week. And starting off with the first 12th Man Award, it's going to go to the Baltimore Ravens, who fell 38-30 on Monday Night Football to the Detroit Lions for the first time. Which, you know, great for Lions fans, not great for Ravens fans. And once again, the Ravens came up just short in another close game, and that's seeming to be a trend now with the Jim Harbaugh team. I'm not too concerned about this team. It's a good football team. This team's going to be in the top 11 going forward. They're going to make the playoffs, but they're 1-2. They just lost. I can't really put them in there. There are lots of good teams I want to put into the top 11 this week, and so they are a 12th Man Award this week. My next 12th Man Award, I have the Minnesota Vikings, who absolutely clobbered the Cincinnati Bengals. Carson Wentz getting a win, first of hopefully many for Vikings fans, as, man, they just demolished Jake Browning and the Bengals. The defense especially. Brian Flores had that team running all over the place. Isaiah Rodgers, shout out him, first ever perfect PFF grade with a 99.9. The dude was all over the place. He had picks, he forced fumbles, he scored touchdowns. It was incredible. My final 12th Man Award this week goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who won against the New England Patriots by no fault of their own. Genuinely, the Patriots just handed that game away on a silver platter repeatedly. Ramondre Stevens, I wouldn't trust him to hold a baby right now. But they're still 2-1. I wanted to give them proper attention, which was being the last of the 12th Man Awards this week. Getting into the list at number 11, we have the San Francisco 49ers, who are 3-0, and that game against the Cardinals was probably the most thrilling, utterly boring football game I've ever seen in my life. They won 16-15 in thrilling fashion. I don't know, it wasn't a very good game. Mac Jones, though, battling through an injury, has managed to win in Brock Purdy's stead, who's supposed to be returning. But the news is that Nick Bosa tore his ACL again, and he's out for the season again. So it's not really great for 49ers right now, but they're 3-0, and you know they've managed to get out wins. Just going to leave that down there. They've managed to get out wins, and so I want to give them some respect at 11th on this list. At number 10, we have the Seattle Seahawks, who are 2-1, coming off a clobbering of the New Orleans Saints. They won 44-13, and this game was never close. The Seahawks, after losing opening game against the Niners in close fashion, have soundly beat the Steelers and now the Saints. The Saints obviously not a good team, but this Seahawks team looks legit, at least defensively. I'm not sold on Sam Darnold on the team, but they are putting up points. I got to respect it, and the Seahawks are number 10 on my list. At number 9, we have the LA Rams, who won it's going the other, they lost. Yeah, it was pretty bad for the Rams this week. They had a massive lead against the Eagles at halftime. They blew the lead, but then Matthew Stafford managed to get his team back down the field. Field goals up, blocked, returned the other way, touchdown Eagles, and the Rams fall to 2-1. It was just one of those days for kickers, as their kicks were blocked all around the league, and the Rams lost because of that. But still, they showed that they can go toe-to-toe with the league's best. And if they can clean up some of the mistakes and, play the second half competitively, the Rams are going to be a solid team this year, and I have them at 9 on my list. At number 8, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another team that made a game a lot closer than they should have. They were beating the Jets very comfortably, and then they just decided to not anymore. And once again, a kick is blocked, returned the other way by the Jets, and they score, giving us a gorgeous Aaron Glenn celebration, which I have now seen synced up with basically every song Earth, Wind, and Fire has ever produced, which is something I didn't know I needed in my life, but now I don't know how I'd live without it. Despite that and his beautiful dance moves, the Buccaneers did come back to win this game 29-27. It's a game that they should have won, and they made it a lot closer than they should have. I have some concerns with the Bucs. Obviously, their tackle situation is pretty bad. A big thing out of this game, Mike Evans leaving the game with an injury. Overall, though, Bucs 3-0. They're looking like a solid team, looking a lot like the teams we've seen a lot of them lately. If they had won this game more comfortably, they probably are higher up this list, but because they made it unnecessarily close, number 8 for the Buccaneers. At number 7, oh yeah, it's Indiana Jones time. It's the Indianapolis Colts 3-0. They clobber the Tennessee Titans 41-20, and the Colts look like a real team. Jonathan Taylor, I was out on Jonathan Taylor. I thought he was washed. I thought he was over. He looks incredible right now. Him and Daniel Jones. It's amazing what Daniel Jones can do with an offensive line and a running game. Last time he had that, at least the running game side of things, he went to the playoffs. So the Colts looking like a really good team. The only reason they're not higher, and I do have a couple one-loss teams above the Colts, is because of the competition they face. The best team that they've played so far is the Broncos, which they're fine. They're a fine team, but they're not one of the league's best. They've played, besides that, not particularly good teams. And so I'm knocking them down this a little bit just because of their competition level and just because they just feel like that team that's going to start super fast and peter off. We saw this last year with the Saints. I don't want to overrank them early in the season, though they are looking really good, and I'm really happy for Colts fans. You guys deserve it. Colts at 7, and it looks like it's the only way to go is up. At number 6, we have another clobbering. It's the Washington Commanders, who ran with their backup quarterback, Marcus Mariota. It didn't bother them as they put up 41 points en route to a 41-24 win over the Raiders on Sunday. They are now 2-1 after a loss to the Packers. The Commanders really look complete against the Raiders this week, and without Jaden Daniels, I thought they were going to be a lot more hampered on offense, but their offense ran fantastically. Terry McLaurin had a great game, and this team is showing how deep they really are. Their only loss this season has come against another really, really good team. I'm putting the Commanders at 6. I believe in this team. I think this team's going to make a deep run. They're not going to win the division because the Eagles are the Eagles, but this team is legit. And Jaden Daniels, when your team can operate without your quarterback at a high level, that shows how good of a team you have around you. And that's not a knock against Jaden Daniels. This team is just a genuinely solid football team. At number 5, we have our first team with a loss. We have the Green Bay Packers. They fall to 5th on my list after a 13-10 loss to Cleveland. I know a lot of people are probably going to knock them down a lot more than this. And let me be honest, it wasn't a good game. They played very sloppily. The offense was nowhere to be found. And they still should have won the game. They lined up for a field goal. And guess what? You might be noticing a trend here. Their field goal was blocked. And the Browns won because they got into field goal range. And the Browns, I mean, I don't know how they have any favor left with the football gods after trading away Baker Mayfield for Deshaun Watson, but they beat the Packers. And the thing is, though, that you have to temper your reaction to the Packers game. This Browns defense is elite. They are elite. They are top 3 defensive unit in the NFL, and I don't think that can be understated. This Packer team is still a very good team. They had a bad game against an elite defense. I'm not going to overreact to this game. They have looked fantastic in every other game. This is their first slip up this season, and I'm going to slide them down to 5th for that. See how they move on next week. If they lose, again, they're going to plummet down my rankings, but I'm going to give them a 1-week cushion. They only fall to 5th, and we'll see how it goes. At number 4, a team that didn't even make my first power ranking after week 1, we have the Detroit Lions, who beat the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football. Jared Goff improves to 8-2 on Monday Night Football, and they looked fantastic. That defense, the defense from the Lions, incredible work. They had Lamar Jackson, and it's funny, Lamar Jackson's box score looks solid, and then you see he was sacked 7 times. He was incredible. The defensive performance put on masterclass against the Ravens. And Derrick Henry, once again, with a fourth quarter fumble. This is a concerning trend if you're a Raven fan. But the Lions, looking like the old Lions, the most impressive part of this game to me was the 98-yard touchdown drive that the Lions engineered in the second half. That was masterclass. A masterclass of offense. This team, which slipped up early in the season, is starting to find its steam. You know, you had to adjust to 2 new coordinators, but they're adjusting pretty well, especially the defensive coordinator. Kelvin Shepard put on a masterclass, like I said, on Monday Night Football against the Ravens. They are looking really good now, and they're moving up my list. They're number 4 this week. At number 3, you have the Los Angeles Chargers, who beat my Denver Broncos 23-20 on Sunday, and my goodness, I come away from that game thinking one thing. Holy Justin Herbert. He is an elite quarterback. Anyone who thinks he's a social media quarterback does not know what they're talking about. Justin Herbert, when the game was the biggest, when the moment was the biggest, he showed up the biggest. They obviously lose Najee Harris. Omarion Hampton's right there. This team looks complete. Their defense had a good game against the Broncos, though it's not a high bar. It wasn't a perfect game. The Broncos did rattle off 17 unanswered points at one point, but the Chargers team is a 3-0 team. The first time since Drew Brees was the quarterback for the Chargers that they've been 3-0 to start the season. They are top the AFC West, an AFC West that is floundering. The Chiefs don't look the same. The Broncos are not what they were billed to be, and the Raiders are just the Raiders, like normal. This team is really good. Jim Harbaugh has done a fantastic job with this team. Do not sleep on the Chargers. This is an elite team. I'm going to say it. This team is going to win the division at this rate, and we haven't seen the Chargers do very good in the playoffs, but if a team's ever going to do good in the playoffs if they're Chargers, this is the team. Number 3 on my list, and man, Justin Herbert is incredible. At number 2, we have the Buffalo Bills, who stay at number 2 compared to my week 2 rankings, and they win 31-21 against the Dolphins, it was a closer game than the box score through a brutal pick at the end of that game when they had a chance to go down, tie the game. But the Buffalo Bills, they get the win. It wasn't their finest performance, but this team, top to bottom, one of the best teams in the league, and a team that, they seem like they're on a crash course for the AFC Championship game right now, as long as they stay healthy. There's not much to say that hasn't already been said. Number 2 on my list, go the Buffalo Bills. And at number 1, they can't keep getting away with it, the Philadelphia Eagles. With some voodoo magic, block the kick against the Rams, take it all the way back. I thought for sure I was going to get to dethrone the Eagles and put them farther down the power rankings, but no. Jordan Davis had something else to say. The Eagles win 33-26 over the Rams. I already talked about that, but the Eagles continue to be the Eagles. And like I've said in every video I've made about the Eagles, they are the best team in the NFL until they or someone else prove to us they are not. So they're going to sit in top of my power rankings for the foreseeable future because, man, this team complete. This team is a ultimate team put together. A.J. Brown is such a physical specimen at receiver. And honestly, with how the NFC is looking, I don't know if there's a team that's going to stop them. At this point in the season, it's hard to see them losing to someone in the playoffs. This Eagles team, Super Bowl favorites for a reason. Number 1 on my power rankings. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. Like and subscribe. If you did, leave a comment and let me know what you think. Who was too high, who was too low, and who was your team? Is your team going to do better next week? Because my team, yeah, I really hope they did. Dude, that sentence was about as good as their game, which is concerning.